Hello everybody, my name is Luke Marr and this is Hot Mode, and today on Hot Mode we are going to be reacting, roasting, and reviewing some of the looks from the Venice Film Festival in 2021. Now this is a little bit of a different setup for me, true, but it's the beginning of fashion month. I'm doing New York and then I'm going to London and Milan and Paris, and so some of the videos that we film for the next month and a half be in different spaces and places, but also all of our upcoming fashion week reviews will also be in all different places and settings, areas, lightings, etc, etc. So without further ado, let's get into this Venice Film Festival reaction. Now I am going to be doing most of the main looks, but there is a sort of fuller version of this video for channel members, just because I didn't want the main video to be like an hour and a half. So if you really want to like see everything, channel members, you know where to go already, but if you're not, go down into that description box and click the join button. It's $1. It's super great, and I post more often now than I ever did, so you're welcome. First up, let's talk about Adriana Lima. Now she is wearing Etro. She's an Etro woman. Etro, an Italian brand, usually known for its quite vibrant prints. I would say they're usually very Asian inspired. But here Barbara is wearing a sort of wrap dress. It's strapless. It has two sort of wrap styles that wrap around the bust area. Then there are sort of cutout details or like exposed sides, and then a sort of little sliver right in the middle. I would say that's like a keyhole, but like a very narrow keyhole. And then of course you have to go and see the full split right up the front, which I just don't think is ever super duper appealing. I understand walking, I understand moving, grooving, but like just never really looks great. It's a pretty boring run-of-the-mill dress. It's in a red sequin, which like the red is really great. Adriana Lima is very much so a sort of like beautiful, stunning, stereotypically gorgeous woman, and so in that regard she can wear a lot, just about anything, but doesn't mean that the things that she wears are always like attractive on their own. So she looks great as a person. The dress though I think needs a lot of work. I think it's very discombobulated. I think that it's just trying to do so much. Luckily there's a simplicity in terms of just color and sort of utilization of the sequins, so it's all there in that department, but it's like too much cutout, it's too much wrap, it's too much with the slit. It could be a much better dress than it is. So next up is Anya Taylor-Joy. Now she is wearing custom Christian Dior. You can tell by the belt. Whatever sort of Barbie pink we're going for here, I just don't think it is Anya to me. I think she's actually usually a little bit more sullen, a little bit more serious. I have been liking some of the Dior stuff that she's been having custom done. There was that like really nice green look that had like the jacket with the nice sort of like fitted column dress that was really beautiful, but Maria Grazia consistency, they don't really work out super duper well. You sort of have this pink little dress that has a little short sleeve, and then it sort of has like a little cut stern line sort of neckline here, which I think is interesting to a degree. The issue is you have a belt over a dress that actually fits. That's the thing. Like this isn't some long not fitted to the waist dress. Like this dress, you can tell that that fits. It really genuinely like hits. It doesn't feel awkward, it doesn't pull, but then from the belt has like a swag of fabric, which again, now if you're gonna have a swag of fabric coming from certain places, I would presume you'd want it to have volume. This to me looks like it's like a dead fish hanging or like a dead animal hanging. It feels sad and sullen and morbid, and I just don't really understand where it's coming from. As for the rest of the dress, like it's just a column dress, but it seems like the dead swag of fabric also comes down and creates like a sort of half skirt that covers the rest of the skirt. So I'd rather just see, I don't know, like a column dress in the bubblegum pink that just fits immaculately than trying to do like so much here. Also, she's wearing a little, you know, side hat, Stephen Jones sort of moment, which I can appreciate. Stephen Jones has been with Dior for decades now at this point, so like I'm into it, but the swag fabric moment, not loving, not living, not laughing, not loving. So then there also was this Rodarte dress. I love this. Now I think this is from spring 2021, fall 2021, I'm not sure. It's done in this very, very pretty pink with these sort of very homey, feminine sort of patterns that have little flowers on them, little dots in it. It's almost like a bunch of silk scarves that never got cut individually and just sort of became a dress. So instead of them each sort of turning into little squares now, the big roll of fabric that they would have used just became a dress. I think it's really, really sweet, and I think that tiny little rose at the middle of the neckline is just like a very nice little way of bringing attention to that area. It's a slip dress, so it's not like fitting crazy super duper to the body, but I think that it works. I think it has a really prim and proper, sweet feeling to it. I think this is the way to do that pink. Like, I understand the bubblegum pink in your face, very bright, Barbie-esque, but this feels like this really has depth and meaning and nuance. I also love little off the shoulder, a little wrap, very cute, very fun, stays in the fabric, easy peasy. I think this is a real like solid home run for both Anya and Rodarte. Next up is Barbara Palvin, and she is wearing Armani, and I love this. I think this is stunning. I think this is fun. I think this is exciting. So obviously it's a black strapless dress, but the thing is, when it gets to like where the waist sort of ends, it almost like opens up like a flower, like a tulip, like something really sort of long but cylindrical, almost ovular. And then there is like a little column dress underneath, which is fitted really, really well. But the way that it just opens, it's like, this is the Armani I think that is so stunning and beautiful and like understands just simplistic craftsmanship. Like, these are the sort of cuts and styles that I dream of Giorgio. That's my sort of moment. I do really enjoy a little silver or zipper or a little crystal piping along it. I feel like that helps to really pipe it, to really give it a outline. Towards the end of the dress, it does get a little bit long in my opinion. I kind of wish it was a little bit stiffer and maybe just had a little slit in the back so that it really gave that tulip opening skirt style, and then just the rest of the dress was that really tight fitted beautiful column dress. But this is gorgeous. Like, this is fashion to me. This is why people go to Mr. Armani 40 years later. Like, legend, icon, star. Next up is Cynthia Erivo. Now, I really want to talk about this Tory Burch look. I just think it is divine. I think it's so stunning. I think it's so funny. I think a lot of people think of Tory Burch as very like stagnant and boring and commercial American designer. I don't think that's always true. I think there's an element to the brand that is that, but I think here, this like beautiful, vibrant, deep, soul-crushing blue is stunning. And I like the fact that it's these beautiful feminine creatures that look like they have wings and wrinkles, and then there's this nice sort of brown hair that also like turns into a swan, and they reciprocals of each other. It's really stunning in my opinion. I think Cynthia looks really, really great. And the head wrap, I think this is like the perfect way to incorporate the head wrap. It obviously has the same sort of print on it, and I think that's the way to like really make a look custom to you as a celebrity. I think this is divine. I think it's stunning. Is it like, I thought it was pleated at the bottom, but it's really not. It's just sort of like gathered, but I love this. I like a graphic moment that is really artistically inspired, and this feels very much so that. I think the use of the head wrap is a perfect way to sort of make it immediately Cynthia Erivo. This is like hitting it out of the ballpark for me. It's elegant, but it's interesting and culturally important. Like, it hits all of the bases that I need, and I don't know anything about hitting bases, but like the bases hit. Next up is Dakota Johnson, and she is wearing Gucci. She is a woman of Gucci. She's sort of stuck to the brand for quite some time. Now, you can tell underneath that there is a sheer slip dress. It's a sort of mesh style, but it's covered in these tiny little drop crystals. It almost looks like it's little, raindrops. Now, this kind of has like different origins. I would say initially, this is sort of a very Elsa Schiaparelli style. And then you can see it in Miuccia Prada collections. Like, I would say she brought this around in the late 2000s or early 2010s. And Prada met exhibit, I think from like 2012, 2013, has looks that sort of reference these two moments. So that's kind of what that is to me, but I don't think it's bad. I think it looks really, really nice. I don't think it looks like cheap and ugly or bad. I think it's fun. And I feel like also the fact that there's this sort of fringe tassels over it creates a different sort of dimension. When I say I love the fringe tassels, it actually feels like adding something to that style. Now, I do like the wide shoulders. I feel like that's fun. I feel like it has a very 1940s feeling to it, and I think the fringe that sort of comes down, it could grow on me. I don't love the waist belt. That's just my issue. I understand it's to cinch the waist, and it's sort of trying to really, create that sharp shoulder, sort of thin waist, and then flares out, but it's just very there, and I can never get behind a waist belt. But I do think the fringe that falls down is really nice. Again, adds sort of dimension. Will it get caught in the other crystals? Probably, but such is life. But overall, I do like the look. I like where it's coming from. I like the referencing. Again, waist belt, not really getting it, not really loving it. But besides that, I think it's actually a rather fun, exciting little moment. It feels like Alessandro, but not campy, kitschy Alessandro, more so that sort of ostentatious, but rather opulent Alessandro that we don't really see all that often. Next up is Helen Mirren wearing Dolce & Gabbana, and like, it's Dolce, so there's that element of it, but also like it just doesn't fit well. The waist where you can see the seams, awful. And like, Helen deserves better. She's a dame. Mirren. Helen, tell the girls to stop putting you in Dolce. You tell yourself to stop putting on Dolce. That's the issue. It just looks cheap and tacky and gross and like not even like a fun old Dolce 1990s sort of way. It's just like, ugh. Next up, Isabelle Huppert. She is wearing Armani Privé and I love this. Love this. Would die for this. This full beaded jacket that is floor length is stunning. I love the way that it's cut away so that you can see the pant, the nice tailored pant, which is an Armani signature, Mr. Armani, and suits. That's his game. That's what he did. That's what made him super famous. This black is just deep and powerful, and seductive. That embroidered, crystalled jacket probably costs so much goddamn money. It also probably weighs, I don't know, more than my coffin will, which I love. And Isabelle Huppert is like, my bones aren't brittle. I can carry this around, and I love it. The pants are just acquiescing to the jacket, and I think that's important. I think, you know, it knows where it stands in the swing of things, and I respect that. Overall, really beautiful look, really stunning, really expensive look as well. Next up is Jake Gyllenhaal. He's wearing Valentino. Very simple, double-breasted jacket with a sort of semi-fitted wide leggy kind of pant. Could be better. There are so many more exciting Valentino looks for Jake Gyllenhaal to wear. This is not one of the exciting ones. This is like the everyday man could wear it, and I get it, and you wear it to certain things, but like red carpet, Venice. Everybody else is turning out. Everybody else is doing fashion. You're doing a beige suit. You know, maybe you don't want to get it dirty, the whole like showering aspect, like none of my business, but I feel like Valentino would have no problem dry cleaning one of the more exciting looks. Not this. This is blah, boring, uninteresting. Great for everyday wear, but this is not everyday wear. This is red carpet. Step it up, Jake. Step it up. Next up is Jessica Chastain, and she's wearing Atelier Versace. Now, this is a red strapless dress. I like this, and I think I like it because it's crystal encrusted, which must take a lot of time to sort of get all those little crystals, but the pattern of it is really interesting. I think the way that it almost looks like it's like little cracks or ridges of something. You can see the sort of sheerness of Jessica's body underneath is really fun. I think it's really interesting. I think it plays into this Versace showcasing the body in a sexy sort of seductive way, but it's not really like super seductive in your face seductive. It's more very subtle, but it also has like intrigue. I feel like we don't normally see these little ridges in there. It's actually rather sweet. There's like depth to it as well. The other thing that I think is really interesting is like shading. I think shading in a garment is really slept on, most definitely. I think shading in other elements like paintings or drawings or architecture, I don't know, is very, very important to do. Whereas I feel like in fashion, we sort of take that for granted a lot. And I feel like there are elements of a more opaque red that is really deep and fun, and I think sort of pipes the sheer red sort of wavy parts, and I think that really helps the sheerness pop. I'd love to see more of that, and I feel like this is a really great example of that being done stupendously. Overall, I think it's a really fun dress. I think it's really exciting. I feel like it's definitely something anybody could wear. You know, it's not over the top, avant-garde, in your face in terms of cut and silhouette. It's really easy, classic column sort of strapless dress. But the actual motif really gives it the ability to be something that you're drawn to. And that is what Atelier Versace wants to give to me all the time. I will take it. I'm here for it. I'm asking for it. Thank you. Next up is Kate Hudson wearing Valentino. Love it. Now this is the Valentino Rosso, which is the sort of signature red color from Valentino. Now, normally I wouldn't really be into like a real juxtaposition of opaque and sheer, but I think here it works very, very well. Pier Paolo. Stunning job. So obviously you have a sort of high-waisted skirt that goes all the way down, and again, I feel like the emphasis really is meant to be on this sort of sheerness and also these little red flowers that go up and down and also sort of do stripes on the sleeves, which I feel like I'm doing the rumba. I think is really stunning. I think it's really exciting. I think it's really a design element, a design tactic. So again, the skirt isn't trying to be the focus, and I think that's smart. So it's fully sheer. Kate Hudson, hats off. You know what? Not even hats off. Tops off to you, Kate. Like, I appreciate. I respect it. I think it's stunning. I think the fact that the lace sort of goes all the way down and covers the breast, but you can sort of see side boob. Stun. Gorgeous. Iconic. Lovely. The sleeves in that nice sort of organza sheer that, again, normally when you have like a sheer sleeve, it just sort of fits and that's sort of it. But here, no. Valentino said, we're doing like volume. We're doing big. We're doing bold. We're doing sort of Renaissanceian. I'm into it. I think the fact that the little lace winds over different aspects of the sleeve and sort of helps to create and sculpt the shape of the sleeve is also stunning and gorgeous and amazing. And Kate, this is it. This is the fashion that I like to see. Again, it's in that sort of really beautiful Valentino Garavani sort of imminent red from the 1960s. Overall, this is a smash. Next up is Kiki Layne, and she is wearing Miu Miu. Now, this is a rather sort of simple halter dress. It does have crystals that are in a grid sort of fashion. It's not really trying to do all that much, but at the same time, it has a little ruffle right on the butt. Normally, I wouldn't really like the ruffle on the butt, but I feel like it's Miuccia Prada's way of sort of being like, I'm cute, but also this is like a little bit more chic, pretty, dainty sort of styling, but at the same time, like, little butt ruffle. That's cute. That's fun. Obviously, I do want to see a little bit more exciting from Miu Miu and Kiki Layne, but it's not horrific, but it's also something I could have seen anywhere. So I want a little bit more like Miu Miu. I want a little bit more kitschy, a little bit more, you know, sweet. And I guess, again, butt ruffle, bit kitschy, bit sweet, bit dainty, but I'm looking for more from Kiki. Looking for more. Next up is Kristen Dunst, and she is wearing Dior. I think this black, it fits really, really well. It's very A-line-y shape. I get it. I also think that, like, overall, had we not had one frilly asymmetrical thing, would have been great. I feel like two, great. None, even better. But one, Maria, I think she's just like, I know this is gonna piss Luke off, and so I'm doing it, which is consistently disappointing. The fact that it really is sort of like a strapless dress, but it has the sheer that sort of goes over, I think is okay. You know, if you got rid of those sheer sort of elements, I think it would have been just a nice dress there as well. The embroidery is some sort of, again, that sort of frilly little floral lace flower with little beads on it, which makes it sort of shimmer and shine. I like the fact that mid-thigh, it sort of goes from opaque to sheer as well. I think that's cute. I've seen far worse Dior dresses. I will take this, except for the side frill, with bells on. Happy about it. Okay, so next let's talk about Kristen Stewart. Now, firstly, she is wearing a look, I believe, from pre-fall 2021 Chanel. She is a Chanel ambassador, so I get it. I understand it. It is a tweed bodysuit, which, like, shout out to Virginie. Will I say that it looked great on the runway? No. Will I say that people that are able to buy tweed bodysuits should buy them from Chanel? Absolutely. Rihanna recently wore this and it was great and it was stunning and it was wonderful, and she paired it with jeans and I thought it was brilliant. I think just doing like bodysuit with like maybe a hot pant booty short, don't know if it works. Don't really know if it hits home as well. So I think maybe had we had like, I don't know, a Chanel denim or a Chanel pant or a Chanel skirt or something, I guess you wouldn't know that it's a bodysuit, sure. But do I need to see a Chanel bodysuit by itself? I'm not sure. She pulled it off as well as one can, but maybe like a higher boot or a more exciting boot or a more interesting boot would have been better than just like a little kitten heel as well. I just think that there's a lot of leg, and that's great. Love that. So happy from K-Stew to see a leg. But I just think something else could have helped really like jazz it up, because it just feels very awkward from mid-thigh down. And then Kristen Stewart, again, sort of had a moment where it was troublesome. It was irksome, I'll say, because also like there are good Chanel looks. They come. There's a handful of them every season, and they happen. There was cute stuff from that haute couture collection. This I will not say was one of those cute things. It is a little mint green or sea foam green nighty dress. It is piped in lace, and then it has matching pant. And I get Virginie Viard loves a pant with a dress sort of moment or skirt. I don't know if everybody else loves it as much as she does, and that's hard. Maybe the customer does love it. Maybe the customer says, dress me like a Victorian baby, and she is acquiescing to that. And if that's the case, Virginie, in advance, I apologize. But I can't imagine anybody saying those words. It's awkward. It's strange. It's weird. Again, maybe she doesn't even look like a Victorian baby. Maybe it's like Edwardian baby. Maybe it's like, I don't know, 1920s baby. It's just, you look like a baby. But I feel like at Chanel, they're not trying to make you look like a baby. And that's the problem, is we're having a disconnect. We're disconnected, like the fact that this is a dress with a pant underneath. They're disconnected, and I'm disconnected from understanding anything about this. So, K-Stew, like Margot Robbie, what do we have to do to fix this? Because I don't want it to be this bad, but it's this bad. Please, let me know. Next up is Maggie Gyllenhaal, and she is wearing Prada. Now, pretty run-of-the-mill dress-wise. There's not really too much that you're like, oh my god, wow, this is kooky and crazy. But there are actually some like pretty good Prada details in here that I think if you're not really like a Prada head, you might not pick up on. So first things first, the black column dress going straight down is a little bit blah, a little bit boring. I'd be there with you. But at the same time, if we look at old collections, and I'm going to utilize fall 2008, which was the iconic lace collection as an example, and you can find it in just about like every 3 main Prada collections, you'll find this sort of detail and design element from Miuccia, but she likes to sort of accentuate the front. What she'll do normally is she'll take one color or fabric or texture here, and then right down the middle, she'll put a different thing. So it sort of juxtaposes and sort of creates almost like slimming sort of aspect to the center of the dress. And I feel like that's kind of what's going on here. And instead of it being on the actual body of the dress, I think the sleeves are the thing that are trying to sort of create this slimming of the full dress. So instead of it being on the dress, it's utilizing the sleeves as the sides and then the black as the thing that sort of creates that looking eye moment. The other thing I'll say is the sleeves. Now, will I say I love the sleeves? Will I say I'm obsessed with the sleeves? No, I'm not. Again, but are they incredibly reminiscent of those really big, beautiful sort of corduroy coats that were shown from Prada fall 2021? Yes, because I tried that coat on, or I tried a couple of those coats on. And personally, I tried on the one with these sort of sleeves, and I was like, listen, I love the design element. I think it's really fun. I never had any plan to buy them, but I would have preferred the sort of straight, tailored, moment. But I feel like this is a good way of Raf and Miuccia taking those things off the runway and bringing them into red carpet moments. It's similar, it has reminiscence, and it's just done in different fabrics. This is what I like to see. I feel like this is designing, and it feels like it's pulling from Prada collections of today. I am happy to see it. Will I say it's the most exciting look in the entire world? No. Do I think that we need to incorporate more of the fabrics from the collections into the red carpet looks? Absolutely. I feel like that will really hit it home. But silhouettes and cuts wise right now, it's a process, and I'm here for the process, and I'm happy for the process. Next up, we have Mariacarla Boscano, who is wearing Jean-Paul Gaultier. Now, if you don't know who Mariacarla is, sorry for you. One of the most iconic models, I would say, of the early 2000s at minimum. Put her in there with the supermodel. She came at like the end of that, or like the late 90s sort of aspect. But Mariacarla, a legend. She is the notorious MCB, but I like this Gaultier dress. Now, yes, most definitely is it kooky and crazy and strange and asymmetrical? Yes, but it's really not that asymmetrical. Yes, you do have the straps that are asymmetrical, and I do wish that the brown side also had that off the shoulder. I feel like that really would have like hit home. I personally feel claustrophobic for that necklace, and I'm sure that that's a very expensive necklace and doesn't really like to feel claustrophobic. But I do love the full sort of frontal panel that goes down. I like the fact that we have gathered and pleated dark burgundy, and their little like flower sort of motifs made in these little pleated swags on the burgundy side. But then the brown is much more sort of art deco texture. It feels diamondic, and then you sort of have a little bit of a side hump. I don't want to call it a hump, but it feels like a hump. It's like a little side blip, and then the full flap goes down, and I feel like that is really stunning. I feel like that is really beautiful. I feel like that is really exciting. It's very sexy. It showcases the legs in an interesting, exciting, nice way. This is a Gaultier moment to be admonished, admired, adored. Next up is Milena Smit. I am becoming smitten with Milena Smit. I love this. Now, Olivier, he's a lover of the 80s. He's a lady of the 80s. Move over Madonna, move over Blondie, it's Olivier. But I love these sharp, wide shoulders. Still really cool, still really fun. I feel like everybody else has kind of moved away from like a really wide shoulder, but Olivier really loves it and is drawn to it, and so I appreciate it. The sheer asymmetrical panel, normally I wouldn't like, but I feel like it allows this elongation of Milena's body in a way that is like, I can't comprehend it. It's almost like contrapposto, trompe-l'oeil, where it's utilizing spacing as a way to draw and extend and elongate the body, and I love it. And then this sort of side black in the sequin embellished moment, I just feel like it works really, really well. It feels like a graphic sort of 1980s pop arty sort of moment. I feel like it's really stunning. I feel like it's really beautiful. I feel like it's avant-garde with also this sort of feeling of appropriateness for a red carpet. Olivier Roustan is a legend. Thank God for Balmain. I'm so happy. I'm living. I'm laughing. I'm loving. Then Milena came out in a full marine serre look, and like, again, who comes out in full marine serre to red carpets in the Venice Film Festival? Milena Smit. So as you can tell here, there is this sort of diamond style crescent moon moment, and they sort of are reciprocals of each other, because one half of the diamond is black and the other half is white, and then one half of the crescent moon is white and the other half is black. I feel like it's Marie and Sarah utilizing this very eye-catching monogram of her own without sort of making it stagnant and boring. She's not just doing it simple and plain. No, it's actually interesting and intriguing. I like the shoe moment going on here. I like that it's a full sort of like pant-a-shoe going situation. And then you have a matching little hat, which is fun, which is exciting. It's a little sort of like, you know, page boy hat. It's in the sort of same material, the same sort of crescent moon diamond moment. And then you have a nice sort of utility jacket. It's a little bit long. It has its 4 pockets. It has a very safari jacket feel to it. And then there's just a sort of little matching mini skirt, which I feel like really brings it all home. Overall, I think this is really nice and this is really fun. I feel like it is dressed up, but at the same time, it's exciting and young and understandable to the youth of the world. Milena, thank you. Okay, so I'm back. Let's keep going. Let's start with Penelope Cruz in Chanel. Now, first things first, there was the Chanel Haute Couture look. It's fall 2021. On the runway, it seemed like it had potential, but then it just sort of felt like flat and strange and sort of weird. It had these like panels and yada yada. Well, whatever happened, somebody from Penelope's camp, somebody from Chanel, put an underskirt underneath it, and it felt big and bold and stiff and thick, and I think she really pulled it off. Listen to me saying Virginie Viard's Chanel is great, but I like this look. I think it's very sweet. I think it's very fun. The bows are nice. The idea of little ruffle strap, the panels, the little feathers, you know, like trimming, the hems. It's just a nice look. It's fun. It's sort of big. It's sort of bold. It has like design techniques. It also doesn't feel ugly, and so I'll take it with bells on. Thank you very much. Or with feathers on, or with bows on. Whatever is on it, I'll take it. And the last look that we'll be talking about is a one-shoulder white tiered dress. Now listen, I get it. Chanel tiers I've had to do, well, not like tiers, although like tiers oftentimes. But the tiers on a dress, it is very Coco Chanel. It is very sort of reminiscent of her 1930s, 1940s sort of work. Do I think it was necessary? No. Do I think that it needs to be brought back? I guess. Do I wish that the designers that were bringing it back were able to do it well? Yeah, I kind of almost demand that. But the one strapper, I don't know if it works. I don't know if it's great. I'm getting into my asymmetry moment, but well, this is not one of them. The tiers don't even sort of do like a full moment. So you have one that comes, you know, right at like the top of the hip and it comes down to like mid-thigh. And then there's one under that that sort of comes to the kneecap and then just drops. Then it just goes full skirt. Like if we had maybe one more, that would have been great. Maybe at each tier, the dress flares out more and we get almost like a mermaid silhouette sort of feeling to it. There's just things that seem like they could be done to sort of make these tier dresses a lot more exciting and palatable than they currently are. And so, Chanel team, please help me, help you, help me, help you, help me. And Penelope. Next up we have Sophie Hunter, and she's wearing Emilia Wickstead, and I like this. It's a nice sort of little simple, strappy moment. The little fun jewelry motif throughout is nice. I think the red really pops on the white super duper well. And then the thing that I think is really smart is that they utilize the pleat to sort of create a dramatization of the hip area. So it accentuates the waist by making it smaller in comparison to the pleat that sort of brings out a lot more volume in the hip. And so I think it's very smart. I think the pattern is very nice. Again, pops really easily. I think it's a sweet, solid, nice dress. Emilia Wickstead, that's sort of the thing. It's not trying to be over the top, crazy, kooky out there. It's nice commercial clothing with a focus on voluminous silhouette often, so I'm into it. Next up is Tiffany Haddish and Kristen Siriano. So it's a strapless dress. It looks like it has a sort of like boned corset moment going on here, bustier, etc., etc. But the thing is, this is the weird moment with Kristen Siriano. So you have a very stiff, very, very stiff, clean line bustier. Like, it's not like the top of that neckline is draped. It's not like it's diaphanous. It's not like it has some crazy texture. No, it's clean. It's rigid. Then we get to the waist, and the way that he puts together this stiff bustier with a long black skirt to make it a gown is a draped frangipan skirt detail, and it's just, I don't get it. I think Kristen Stewart actually can make nice clothing. When he chooses to do that, it's less often than it should be. But this is another example of like, why not utilize, I don't know, the bustier as a way to just make a plain white dress, and like, it's fine. You know, the black skirt, like I get it, but at the same time, like, it's just strange to me to have such stiff aspects then meet a sort of little flowy draped moment and then go into black skirt. It's just a lot of elements that like don't really work well together. They seem very diametrically opposed from each other, and I feel bad for Tiffany because like she is becoming a fashion woman and I'm into it and I want it and I need it. So this is not helping that sort of happen though. Next up is Timothee Chalamet. Now he's wearing this brown sort of Louis Vuitton jacket, I believe. I don't know. It just has like a lot of the damier motif on it, which makes me believe that it's Louis Vuitton. It's also like light brown, dark brown. Again, Louis Vuitton. It's blah. It's not that interesting. I've seen better from Timothee. And also, like, whatever this event was, everybody else sort of turned out like exciting, interesting, cool looks. Timothee did not. It's just blah. It's uninteresting. I think there's a lot better from Virgil's runway pieces that could have been like implemented here and really been like fashion, cool, interesting. Timothee, depth, amazing, intelligent. But Timothee's next look was this beautiful black Heider Ackerman suit. It's not really a suit, it's more of like a sweater and a pant. I guess it's technically a shirt, right? Essentially, it's covered in these tiny little crystals, and when Timothee moves, you can sort of see it. There's a video, but you can also see it in this photo here that like there's a shimmer and shine to it, which is really, really nice, and I really appreciate it. And this is the sort of thing from Timothee that I think works. I don't think a sort of simple silhouette is bad here. I think it makes sense. There's a little bit of like a 80 sort of wide shoulder, and then it's just sort of a little white shirt underneath, a little white shirt popping out from underneath the sweater. Makes sense. And then the thing is you're letting the crystals and the light do all of the work. So leave the silhouette plain and then utilize the textile as the thing to accentuate, to sort of bring in excitement, depth, not just boringness. And I think Timothee did that super duper well. Will I say the pants could fit a little bit better? Yes. I like the look overall. I can take the pant and I can, you know, put it to the side because I think this is just a good, solid, nice, interesting look. It's not your usual menswear, and I think that's why it works. Next up, Zendaya. So first up, she wore Valentino Haute Couture. I believe this is from fall 2021. Not my favorite Zendaya moment from Valentino, and I feel like Zendaya really can pull off a lot from Valentino. I just don't know if this is something that could have been pulled off. The black oversized jacket, it's there, it's existing, but it feels a little bit slop. And then also with the white long shirt, I get it, but like, I don't. And then the little pink bow, like it's just, it wasn't really great on the runway. Unfortunately, Zendaya can't sort of save it in that regard, and I just feel like there were so many more interesting, far better layered looks that if we're like doing a jacket, we're doing things like that, there was like cool texture, there was like scrunchy different things, there was like art references, and I feel like that really should have been tapped into, and it wasn't here, and that's disappointing. Then we have this Alaia moment, and like, c'est si bon, si bon. This is good, I think that's what that means. But this is from the first collection from Alaia by Peter Moulier. Peter Moulier, if you don't know, used to be Raf Simons' right-hand man. Dior and I, that's Peter. A solid Calvin Klein, 205 West 39 NYC, Peter. So now he is heading up Alaia. It's lovely. So this, honestly, is like perfectly Alaia. It's a burgundy knit. It has perforations both on the sleeve, but also right in the sort of hip area, groin area on this high-waisted skirt. As you get down to the end of the skirt, it's a full feather moment. It's a mermaid skirt, but with feathers. It's really sweet. It's really lovely. This color is gorgeous on Zendaya. It really, truly is. She can wear an Alaia knit, and I think anybody can really wear an Alaia knit, but she can wear it like nobody else. It fits her like a glove. She looks stunning. She looks gorgeous. We're getting the old Alaia-isms, clingy, tight, but in a knit. We're getting the perforations that we know and that we love. And then you're getting a little bit of pizzazz with the feathers on the bottom. And I think that's sort of the Alaia that we've all been looking, wanting, needing. And I think Peter Moulier is bringing it back beautifully. And then we must talk about that belle moment. Like, it was divine. I am an Olivier Rousteing stan. This is a custom, I believe, hand-sculpted, hand-cast leather dress. Now, this is a reference to the fall 2020 collection. There's like a whole idea of molded bustiers, corsets, yada yada. It's been around almost 90 years, I'd say. But Zendaya has worn molded pieces before. She wore one by Tom Ford. I think that was Tom referencing himself from when he was at YSL, which is really Tom referencing a reference of YSL himself. But I digress. This leather is hot, it's sexy, it fits her stunningly. I said when I reviewed this collection that it must be so much fun to like be somebody that can buy these pieces and like go with your girlfriends, get drunk, and then like you do a casting or a molding of your own chest. Like that's fun. That's a good activity. Like that's a fun fitting. I do think that the little sort of beautiful drapes of leather, which like leather isn't really something you drape. You know what I mean? Like it's not, it's a plastic. Technically. I learned that recently, thank you to the Cooper Hewitt. But it's a plastic, it's something that can be molded and malleable, but oftentimes you don't think about like draping and sort of these tight little drapes that really give dimension and texture. That's what's going on here. And that's a feat. That really truly is a feat. And then as we get to the waist, there's just like so much drape. And I hate draping. I don't think it's very interesting. Oftentimes I think we've seen it a million times already, but in a leather, it's different. It holds a shape. It really holds itself so beautifully. And I think this is a great way, again, to accentuate the waist, is utilizing that texture to draw your eye there. The high slit, perfect, stunning. Zendaya looks like she wasn't cast out of marble, but she looks like she was cast out of, maybe it is marble, slate, granite. I don't know, but it's hot, it's beautiful. She looks stunning. I think this was the winning look of the entirety of Venice, and I think everybody knew that. Everybody knows that. You know that, but we just have to talk about it anyway. So our final look we're going to be talking about is Zoe Saldana in Dolce & Gabbana. Zoe, was it worth it? Was the red sequins, the high slit, worth it? I don't think it was. Not a terrible dress. It's not a good dress by any imagination. It's just lukewarm, mediocre at best. Now, let's talk about the best and worst before we finish this. I mean, best Zendaya, Balmain. Thank you so much. There were other top contenders, Milena Smith. Those were great. The whole Barbara Palvin, Armani Privé, like there was a lot, but Zendaya killed it. Everybody knows. The worst has to be Kristen Stewart. Like, you know that, I know that. She looks like a baby, and that's unfortunate. So that is the end of today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you guys on the next one, and TTYL.